You stare at a burnt piece of sourdough toast. Two charred spots and a smear of jam look exactly like a grieving grandmother. You think your brain is playing a prank. The truth is far more aggressive. Your brain is a paranoid pattern matching machine that would rather be wrong 1,000 times than miss a single threat. Why do you see faces in everything? Because for your ancestors, a false positive meant a laugh, but a false negative meant death. You look at the front of a 1960s Volkswagen Beetle. Two round headlights and a curved bumper create a wide, joyful grin. You cannot unsee the expression. You might think this is just a glitch in your software. Why do you see faces in everything? It is because your survival depends on a shoot first, ask questions later policy for social detection. Your temporal lobe contains a specific neighborhood called the fusiform face area, or FFA. This is a cluster of neurons dedicated entirely to identifying the arrangement of two eyes, a nose, and a mouth. You can test this by looking at a cloud for 3 seconds. You will likely spot a bearded man or a screaming ghost before you see a bank of water vapor. Why does your mind force these shapes into existence? Dr. Nauchin Hadjikhani at Harvard University found that your brain activates the FFA within 165 milliseconds of seeing a face-like object. That is faster than you can consciously decide to look at it. You are reacting to the toaster's eyes before you even know you are hungry. You are not thinking about the face. You are perceiving it as a biological fact. Does your brain even trust your conscious mind to make the call? Your ancestors lived in tall grass where a leopard's spots looked a lot like shadows. If you saw a face in the leaves and ran, you lived to see another day even if no leopard existed. If you failed to see a face that was actually there, your genetic line ended right then and there. You are the descendant of the most paranoid primates in history. Is it better to be embarrassed by a rock or eaten by a cat? Imagine a hunter-gatherer at dusk. The sun is low, casting long, flickering shadows across the savanna. Every rustle of a dry leaf or snap of a twig is a potential predator or a rival tribesman. You squint through the haze. Your brain is working overtime to turn noise into signal. You see a pair of eyes in the dark. This is pareidolia, pareidolia. This is the tendency to see meaningful images in random patterns. It is your brain's favorite hobby. You see a man in the moon. You see a face on the red plains of Mars. You see a disgruntled employee in the grill of a passing truck. In 1976, the Viking 1 orbiter took a photo of the Cydonia region on Mars. You saw a monumental human face staring back from the red dust. It had a defined brow, a nose, and a mouth frozen in a silent cry. NASA scientists explained it was just a mesa with some lucky shadows. You did not care. You saw a god. Why did that image resonate so deeply with you? Dr. Kang Lee from the University of Toronto showed that even infants prefer looking at 3 dots arranged like a face over any other pattern. You were born with this template already downloaded into your gray matter. You did not learn to see faces. You were unable to stop yourself from seeing them. Can you imagine a world where every texture remained just a texture? Think about the signal detection theory. This is the mathematical framework for how you make decisions under uncertainty. You have a criterion or a threshold for what counts as a signal. Your brain sets this threshold incredibly low for faces. You would rather accept 1,000,000 false alarms than suffer one miss. You are a radar operator sitting in a dark room. The screen is filled with green static. You are told that one of those blips is an incoming plane. You start seeing wings in every flicker of light. This is your daily life. Is your brain protecting you or lying to you? In 2004, a woman named Diana Dicer sold a 10-year-old grilled cheese sandwich for $28,000. You might wonder why a piece of moldy bread is worth a mid-sized sedan. It was because the scorch marks looked like the Virgin Mary. You are not just seeing shapes, you are seeing meaning. You are hardwired to find the divine in the domestic. Your brain treats these illusory faces with the same social weight as real ones. Dr. Takeo Takahashi studied how you perceive the mood of inanimate objects. You might think a house looks menacing because of its tall windows or surprised because of its open door. You are projecting human emotions onto wood and glass. Do you feel a strange sense of guilt when you throw away a vacuum cleaner that looks sad? Your fusiform face area is like a specialized bouncer at a club. It only lets in shapes that have the right proportions. But this bouncer is tired and sees the eyes in every pair of rivets on a bridge. You cannot fire this bouncer. He is the reason you survived the Pleistocene. Your brain uses a process called top-down processing. This is when your expectations and knowledge influence what you perceive through your senses. If you expect to see a face, your brain will build one out of whatever scrap material is available. You are an architect of the imaginary. You are painting the world with your own history. Dr. Joel Voss at Northwestern University used MRI scans to show that when you see a face in a random pattern, your brain actually retrieves a memory of a face to overlay onto the noise. You are not just seeing a face. You are hallucinating one based on your past experiences. You are a biological projector. What happens when the projector never turns off? You walk through a dark hallway. Your heart rate spikes when you see a coat rack that looks like a tall man. Your amygdala, the almond-shaped alarm system in your brain, fires off a warning. By the time you realize it is just wood and wool, your blood is already pumping with adrenaline. Why does your body react before your logic can intervene? This is the biological cost of living in a social species. For you, the most dangerous thing in the world is not a tiger, it is another person. A stranger can be a friend, a mate, or a murderer. Your brain decided long ago that it is safer to be jumpy than to be dead. Are you a victim of your own safety protocols? You use colons and parentheses to create a smiley face in a text message. Your brain processes that punctuation as a literal human expression. You look at the charging port of your phone and see a surprised mouth. You live in a world of plastic and silicon, yet your ancient hardware keeps searching for a tribe. Does this constant search make you feel more or less alone? Consider the uncanny valley. This is the dip in your emotional response when an object looks almost human but not quite right. You feel a sense of revulsion or the creeps. Your brain is flagging a face that fails the authenticity test. It is a biological keep-out sign. Imagine a robot with skin that is slightly too pale and eyes that do not quite move in sync. You feel a cold shiver down your spine. Your brain is telling you that this face is a liar. It is a false signal that could be dangerous. Why is your brain so sensitive to these tiny deviations? This sensitivity is why you can recognize a friend from 100 yards away just by the way they tilt their head. Your brain is a master of face space. This is a multidimensional mental map where every face you have ever seen is stored based on its features. You are constantly comparing every rock, cloud, and piece of toast to this massive database. You are a walking facial recognition software. Your brain is also incredibly lazy. It uses heuristics, or mental shortcuts, to save energy. Searching for a face is a shortcut. Instead of analyzing every leaf on a tree, your brain just looks for the eyes, nose, mouth pattern. It is an efficient way to scan for threats. You see a face in the foam of your latte. You see a face in the grain of the wood on your desk. You see a face in the tail lights of the car in front of you. You are surrounded by a silent audience of inanimate objects. Is this a superpower or a curse? Dr. Sophie Scott, a neuroscientist, suggests that your brain is so focused on social signals because you are an ultra-social animal. Your survival depends on reading the intentions of others. You are so desperate for social data that you will extract it from a rock if you have to. You are looking for a connection in a silent universe. You might feel silly for apologizing to a chair after you bump into it. You might feel a surge of affection for a backpack with eyes. These are not signs of madness. They are signs of a healthy, highly tuned social brain. You are simply too good at being human. Your brain does not just see faces, it sees agency. This is the belief that an object has its own goals and feelings. When you see a face on a storm cloud, you might feel like the storm is angry at you. This is the foundation of ancient myths and religions. You turn the sun into a face and the wind into a voice. You look at a clock on the wall. The hands are at 10 and 2, creating a subtle smile. Marketing experts know this. They set clocks in advertisements to 10 and 2 because it makes you feel more positive about the product. You are being manipulated by your own biology. Can you ever truly see an object for what it is? Your eyes move across this text. Your neurons fire in a rhythmic dance. Your fusiform face area is standing by, waiting for the next signal to arrive. You are a creature of pattern and purpose. You are never truly alone as long as your brain keeps inventing company. You look at the sourdough toast again. The grandmother is still there, staring back with jam-smeared eyes. You smile back because your brain demands a connection. Why do you see faces in everything? Because you are the result of a million years of being very, very careful. It is a bit exhausting to live in a world that is always staring back, isn't it? You spend your whole life looking for yourself in the static. Perhaps the real question is not why you see faces, but what you would do if you finally looked at the world and saw nothing at all. Which of those two options scares you more? Your brain is a storyteller, and it insists on making the world the protagonist. You are surrounded by a gallery of ghosts, all born from your own need to survive. You see the eyes, you see the mouth, you see the soul in the machine. You look at the front of that 1960s Volkswagen Beetle one last time. It still looks happy to see you. You know it is just steel and glass. You know it has no feelings, but you wave back anyway just in case. Your brain is a paranoid, beautiful pattern matching machine. It has kept you alive this long. It has populated your world with friends made of stone and clouds. It has turned the lonely void of space into a neighborhood of faces. You are never truly alone. You stare at the burnt sourdough toast. The grandmother stares back. You take a bite of her forehead. The pattern is gone, but the memory remains. You are ready for the next face. It is fascinating to think that your brain would rather hallucinate a friend than accept a lonely silence. You are designed to find humanity in the heart of the inanimate. Does knowing the mechanism behind your pareidolia make the faces you see feel any less real to you?